In the annals of human invention, some technologies leap forward, defining entire eras. Others quietly evolve, their innovations qualities that ripple through time. Ancient Chinese lacquerware belongs to this second category, unassuming at a glance, yet revolutionary in its impact. But what exactly is lacquerware? Imagine a simple wooden bowl shaped and sanded by hand thousands of years ago. To protect that bowl from water, rot, or wear, early artisans developed a remarkable technique, coating it in lacquer made from the sap of the toxic Rus vernicifera tree, commonly known as the lacquer tree. Through painstaking refinement, this simple coating became the foundation of an art form. Lacquer wasn't just a protective barrier, it was an alchemy of material science and artistry. When applied in thin layers and hardened in the right conditions of humidity, it resulted in a surface that shimmered like glass, but remained flexible and waterproof. But this wasn't just any gloss, it was an object transformed. The bowl became a canvas for experimentation. Artisans began incorporating powdered minerals like cinnabar for deep crimson hues, or mother of pearl for an iridescent glow. The lacquer hardened, but the creativity behind it seemed boundless. This transformative technology began to emerge as early as the Neolithic period, well over 3,000 years ago. During the Shang and Zhou dynasties, lacquered objects began appearing in ritual settings, fine cups, trays, and adornments that symbolized status and devotion to spiritual life. By the time of the Warring States period and into the Han dynasty, lacquerware was reaching heights of complexity unmatched in the world. Imagine a carved screen, lacquered with dozens of layers to achieve a depth of color so rich you could lose yourself in it. Or consider intricate scenes of flowers, landscapes, and mythological beings inlaid with silver and gold. These were no longer simple objects, they were cultural statements of aesthetics, luxury, and technological prowess. It wasn't only the elites who benefited from this innovation. While lacquer initially adorned the private chambers of nobility, the gradual advancement of techniques meant some of these objects trickled down through society. Some pieces served practical functions, boxes that were impermeable to water or bowls impervious to the passage of time itself. The lacquer not only enhanced durability but also elevated everyday experiences, turning humble tools into objects of beauty and significance. But how was this astonishing material made? The process was as demanding as it was precise. First, the lacquer sap had to be carefully harvested, drop by precious drop from the lacquer tree. This was no trivial task. Exposure to the raw sap could cause severe allergic reactions, earning it the nickname poison varnish. Once collected, the sap was filtered, purified, and most importantly, allowed to cure in controlled conditions. Imagine artisan workshops where each layer of lacquer, applied with a delicate brush, had to dry for days or even weeks before the next coating could be added. Some high-end pieces required dozens or even hundreds of applications, each layer contributing to the final luminous finish. Lacquer artisans also had to master techniques of carving and decoration. In some cases, an object might be built up in relief, with intricate patterns etched into layers of cured lacquer. In others, artisans would embed gold leaf, jade, or even silk fibers beneath the surface, creating extraordinary visual effects that seem to defy the limitations of natural materials. The scale of this craftsmanship placed lacquerware among the most sophisticated artisanal traditions in ancient China. Trade routes carried lacquered objects beyond the Middle Kingdom, spreading their allure to Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia. Soon, neighboring cultures began refining their own lacquer techniques, though none surpassed the mastery of the Chinese artisans who pioneered the craft. But lacquerware wasn't just about aesthetics, it was also a triumph of technology. At its core, lacquer technology represents one of humanity's earliest experiments with polymers. When processed correctly, the sap chemically polymerizes, creating a structure that resists heat, moisture, and bacteria. These qualities would inspire materials science centuries later. In fact, the principles behind lacquer, layered applications, hardening through curing, and innovative surface treatments would evolve into the modern field of coatings and finishes. Today, that lineage is clearer than ever. Every time we observe a car with an impossibly shiny top coat or handle a sleek smartphone with its scratch-resistant surface, we see echoes of lacquer. Protective coatings, laminates, and even some plastics owe their existence to these ancient techniques. The essence of lacquer's innovation, the idea of creating something both functional and beautiful, has permeated modern material science in subtle yet profound ways. But lacquerware remains relevant not just in technology, but also in art. Museums around the world proudly display lacquered objects from as far back as the Han Dynasty, their brilliant colors and flawless surfaces untouched by more than 2 millennia. The durability of these artifacts stands as a testament not just to the materials, but to the genius of their makers. You might wonder, why does lacquer still captivate us? Perhaps it's because lacquerware is a bridge between contradictions. At its heart, it embodies both strength and fragility, utility and opulence, nature and human ingenuity. In modern-day China, craftsmen still produce lacquerware using largely traditional methods. This continuity makes China's lacquer heritage a living tradition, a reminder of the power of blending function with artistry. While technologies like industrial polymers and 3D printing have eclipsed lacquer in mass production, its influence lingers as a symbol of resilience, creativity, and cultural expression. Ancient Chinese lacquerware isn't just a relic of history, it's a lesson. It reminds us how a single innovation can ripple forward in time, shaping the tools, technologies, and treasures that define human civilization. So the next time you admire the sleek finish on a piece of modern furniture, or run your fingers along the smooth surface of your phone, remember that it all began with a toxic tree sap and the boundless imagination of ancient Chinese artisans.